I made over 1 million freelancing on Upwork, and in this video, I'm showing you exactly how I did it and how you can too. Hey, if we haven't met yet, I'm Josh Burns, an expert vetted SQL Server database administrator on Upwork. I started freelancing in 2016 with a simple goal to save $10,000 for a house down payment. But things took off way faster than expected, and I ended up making over 6 figures in my first year on the Upwork platform. I eventually quit my full-time job and went all in on Upwork because of the freedom and the flexibility of freelancing. So in this video, I'm sharing my Upwork journey and how you can replicate my path to becoming a millionaire on Upwork as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to be successful on Upwork is a high-quality profile that stands out from the competition. One of the first things that a client will see when they visit your profile is your profile photo, and you want that to make a really good impression on them. You need to look professional. You need to have a really, high-resolution photo of yourself. Now, you can take this yourself. Just make sure that you have good lighting, a good background, preferably something that's clean and there's not a lot of distractions going on. Or you could take it a step further and you could simply hire, a professional photographer to take a headshot photo of you. So if you take a look at my profile photo, you can see that, I have a clean background. It's high resolution. The lighting is really good. And, what I did is I just took a photo of myself here in my, YouTube studio, and then I uploaded it into Canva. And then I just simply cut myself out from the background. You could do something similar to that. And then next, your title should be focused on your skill set keyword. So for me, that is Microsoft SQL Server DBA. So whenever a client comes to Upwork and they're looking for someone with my skill set, that is typically what they're going to type in when they're searching. It's going to be the title whenever they create a job of the actual job. It's the main skill set keyword that clients on Upwork are searching for. So that's what I lead my title off with because I want to rank for it. I want my profile to show up in search results. I want it to be recommended to them as well. So your title is very important. And again, you want to focus that on your skill set keyword. Now, if you have no idea what to set your title as, what I would recommend doing is a couple of different things. First off, you can simply search for jobs on Upwork with your skill set. Take a look at the jobs, figure out what the job title most often includes. For me, if that's Microsoft SQL Server DBA, that's going to be, the main keyword I want to focus on. Search for jobs, look at the most used job titles that have your skill set in them. Take note of those. And then what you can do next is you can also search for the highest earning freelancers in your niche that have the same skill set as you do. Go to their profiles, look at their job titles, take note of those. And then what I would do to take it, another step further is go down to their work history. Look at the jobs they've completed. Look at the jobs they have in progress and see what the most common job titles are and figure out what you need to include in your, title on your profile. So if you do those two things, you will easily figure out what your, keyword needs to be, what you should lead your title off with. So next up in your profile overview, you want this to be extremely client focused. You want to focus on past projects, things you've delivered and executed on for other clients, some of your best work. You don't want to focus on how many years of experience you have, what degree you have, or anything like that. You want it to be client focused. Your goal is to build credibility and trust with a client that's looking at your profile. And if they're coming to your profile with a specific need, a specific project, you want your profile overview and, actually your entire profile to convince them that you're the right person. So in your profile overview, focus on what you can deliver for the client, what you have delivered for other clients, or if you're a new freelancer, some of your best projects that you've completed and done really good work on. Make it client focused and not all about you and, how many years of experience you have or anything like that. And then next up in the portfolio section, now this is one of the most important sections on your entire profile, especially for a new freelancer who has no work history. The portfolio section is your chance to display your best work to hook the client and get them really interested in you. You need to show potential clients what you've delivered for other clients, or if you haven't delivered for other clients, then you need to show them what you're capable of. Show your best work in your portfolio and definitely include 3 to 5 different portfolio items. And another thing you want to do is make sure you have a really high resolution and just really good thumbnail on each of the portfolio items as well, because that's going to make them stand out. And don't get overwhelmed with everything I'm telling you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. What I recommend doing is simply searching for the highest earning freelancers with your skill set in your niche. Find those highest earning freelancers. I've showed how to do this, on my YouTube channel. It's very easy to do, to search for the highest earning freelancers, freelancers who have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, even, millions of dollars with your skill set in your niche and everything. So what I would recommend doing is studying their profiles. Look at their title, look at their profile photo, look at their overview, look at their portfolio items. Get inspiration from those. Don't copy them. You don't want to copy anyone's profile or anything on their profile, but get inspiration from them. Those freelancers are successful for a reason. They've made a lot of money for a reason, and you can get a lot of great ideas and inspiration from, studying their profiles. And that's exactly what I did when I got started on the Upwork platform. I searched for the highest earning SQL Server database administrators, and I studied everything on their profiles. I analyzed everything, and I got a lot of great ideas and inspiration for my own profile. It helped me create it faster, and it helped me stand out to new clients. And I think it played a huge part in me getting my first job on Upwork and even my first few jobs on Upwork. But it was not easy. I faced a lot of challenges when I got started on Upwork. And one of the biggest challenges is making the time work, because I had a full-time job. So what I had to do is I would, wake up at 5 a.m. before my full-time job. I would do freelance work on the Upwork platform from the time I woke up until the time I went to work. And then because I lived pretty close to, my 9 to 5 job, I drove home on my lunch, and then I would do freelance work during my lunch. Then I would go back to work. And when I got off at the end of the day, I would drive home, I would work out, I would eat dinner, take a shower, all those things. And then I would do freelance work from around 7 p.m. until the time I went to bed. And I did that every single day. So you have to make sacrifices. If you want to be a freelancer that's successful on the Upwork platform, that makes $1 million or even more, then you have to make sacrifices, and you have to be willing to do things that most people simply aren't willing to do. A lot of people, they don't have the work ethic, they don't have the discipline, they don't have the consistency, and it takes all of those things, and you have to be willing to do them, and you have to be willing to make the time work. Even if you have kids, you have other obligations and things like that, you have to figure out what hours work best for you, and you have to figure out how to use those hours to do work for clients, because it's going to take a lot more than you can even imagine right now, but I promise it's worth it. So make the sacrifices, figure out what time works for you and what time you have to dedicate to freelancing, and then commit to it and be consistent. A lot of you are probably struggling to win your first job on Upwork, and I know what you're going through because I've been there myself. I sent 44 proposals before I finally won my first job on Upwork, and I searched for jobs constantly. I looked for jobs that, fit my skills and experience, and I tried to improve something with every single proposal that I sent. You've probably heard the saying that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. If you're sending the same proposal over and over again, why should you expect a different result? You need to customize every proposal based on the job description and make the focus on how you can help solve the client's issue or need. Here's a pro tip for you. Use Uma, Upwork's mindful AI, to help you save time and enhance the quality of your proposals. Okay, so now let's talk about how I turn one-off projects into ongoing work. This is how I've made most of the $1.2 million I've made on Upwork. So I mainly do hourly projects, and I have a high hourly rate, but I also offer my clients a package where I do routine maintenance and I manage their database servers every month. So I have a service that's repeatable, and when I get an initial job with a client, what I do is I go above and beyond to impress them, to make them happy. And once I've completed their job, I've impressed them, and I know 100% that they're happy. What I do then is I pitch them my ongoing package where they pay me every single month to manage their database servers and to do routine maintenance. So I have that service that's repeatable, and then I pitch, a monthly package to them once I've completed the initial job. That's how I get ongoing work. And because I go above and beyond to impress them on the initial job, they almost always say yes to the routine package where they pay me every single month. And, that's a huge reason why my long-term client percentage on Upwork is 100%. So as a new freelancer on the Upwork platform, start off by doing as great of a job as you possibly can. Your goal should be to get as many 5-star reviews and just really, really good feedback as you possibly can. And I'm talking about feedback where a client leaves you paragraphs of feedback just going on about how great of a job you did for them. That's what you want, because after you do an initial job where you've really, really impressed a client and you pitch them an ongoing package where you do, a service for them every single month, they're almost always going to say yes if you've really went above and beyond, to make their lives better. And that's what you want to do. This ongoing package is how I've made most of my money on Upwork. The best way to keep your pipeline full and have long-term success on Upwork is by experimenting with everything. Try hourly projects and fixed price projects. You won't know what works best for you and your skill set until you try everything. I've personally tried them all, and I've found that hourly projects combined with ongoing packages work best for my skill set. However, fixed price projects might work best for you. You need to try everything so that you can identify what generates the most money and keeps your pipeline full as well. Now, if you really want to make life-changing money and have long-term success on Upwork, then you need to have the mindset that you won't let anyone outwork you. The truth is, a lot of new freelancers, they quit and they give up way too early because they're not putting in enough time and they're not working hard enough. You're going up against someone like me. When I first started, I was putting all of my time into Upwork, and you're putting in a couple hours here, a couple hours there. When I was putting in all of my time, I was obsessed with Upwork and trying to improve every single day. When you're going up against someone like that and you're just barely putting in enough time, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to win pretty much every single time because I'm putting in more time, I'm being more disciplined, I'm more consistent, and I'm simply just outworking you. And that's how it is with other freelancers that you're competing against right now. There's someone putting in more time than you, being more consistent than you, being more disciplined than you, and taking this way more seriously than you are. And what do you think is going to happen? They're going to get all the clients. And then, you're going to be sitting around wondering why you're not getting clients while they're getting all the clients. And the truth is right in front of your face. You need to be more consistent, more disciplined, put in more time, and outwork them. You have to be willing to do what it takes to become a freelancer that can make $1 million on Upwork. So you have to take this seriously and you have to be disciplined. And that's the thing that most people don't have. It's discipline. I am way more disciplined than the average person. I always have been. And I would contribute most of my success on Upwork to being very disciplined and to constantly trying to improve every single day. Those two things are the main reasons why I've made $1 million on Upwork. The key lesson I've learned after freelancing on Upwork since 2016 and becoming a millionaire is that Upwork is a marathon, not a sprint. The freelancers who take a long-term approach with patience, discipline, and always improve are the ones who win long-term. Upwork is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice from you, so it depends on how bad you want it and how bad that you want to change your life. I promise you that the freedom and the flexibility are more than worth it. So you can either be someone who quits way too early, gives up, and complains, or you can be someone like me, telling the story of how I made over $1 million on Upwork and completely changed my life. When starting out on Upwork, I wish I knew the potential I had. Like I said, my goal was to simply save money for a down payment on a new house. I never imagined that I would be sitting here with over $1 million earned and hundreds of jobs completed. So set your goals extremely high because your potential is way higher than you currently think it is. Don't be discouraged and feel like you're behind as a new freelancer. If someone on Upwork has had success with your skill set, then you can as well. Search for the highest earning freelancers with your skill set, save their profiles, and use them as inspiration and motivation. You can get there as well. You just have to be disciplined and put in the work that's required to get there. So are you ready to grow your freelance career? Find remote freelance opportunities on Upwork. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have an amazing day.